Minister, I had a debate with Minister Charlie McConalogue on a radio station over the weekend, and he stated that the housing crisis can't be fixed overnight. It's an incredible thing for a minister to say at this stage. From Phil Hogan to Alan Kelly to Simon Coveney to Owen Murphy and now to Darragh O'Brien, ministers are still saying that this housing crisis can't be fixed overnight. It's a long night time for those people who are on housing waiting lists, who are in homelessness and who are at the edge of survival because of increasing rents at this moment in time. All of that time, the crisis has got steadily worse. We now have record numbers of people who are homeless, hitting 10,800 people just in the last month, 3,220 of those who are children, accessing emergency accommodation. Do you have any idea, Minister, the long-term damage it does to children to be homeless or to be living in emergency accommodation? The damage it does to their health, to their mental health, to their nutrition, to their education. This is the government damaging a generation of children due to its policies in terms of housing. Now, every year in terms of housing as well, about 100 people die of homelessness just on the streets of Dublin. And no other county in Ireland is the government actually recording the amount of people who die. There's dozens of other people losing their lives in homelessness in the rest of the country, and no state organisation sees fit to even record that particular number. And many thousands of people are one rent increase away of homelessness, one rent increase away of poverty. And this government is absolutely a record-breaking government. The highest house prices on record, the highest rents on record, and now the highest number of homeless people in the country on record. So in the jaws of this emergency, in this national humanitarian crisis, you would imagine that the government would have an urgency about it in terms of solutions in the budget that is just delivered. But that has not happened, unfortunately, Minister. You see, a promised vacant home tax plan, which was incredibly vague and incredibly nebulous. It actually was based upon the fact that a house has to be occupied less than 30 days a year. Now, what are people going to do? Are they going to take selfies in those homes for 31 days of the year? Are they going to go to the local Garda station to sign in for 31 days of the year? It's an incredible situation. And I heard two Fine Gael TDs talk about how it's absolutely wrong that there's so many vacant homes in this state. But let's be absolutely clear. Fine Gael have been opposing vacant home taxes since the start of this government. Paschal Donoghue is ideologically opposed to the imposition of vacant home taxes and has said so and has acted as so in many times in his position as Minister for Finance. Also, the residential zoned land tax announced in last year's budget is still in the future tense. Long-term empty homes and long-term empty sites in a crisis of this depth is a clear winner in the crowded race of government ineptitude that exists currently in the terms of housing. And I say crowded race because the government actions in terms of ineptitude are incredible. The government closed building sites for a full quarter in 2021. The country with the worst housing crisis in the whole of the European Union was the only country in the whole of the European Union that closed building sites in 2021. It's an incredible situation. And then, in an act of sheer ignorance and illiteracy, the government have now decided to introduce a defective concrete product levy to be levied on products going into the building of houses. What is wrong with the government that you're starting to increase the taxes being levied on building homes for people in the jaws of the worst housing crisis in the history of the state? I and the majority of people in this country have no confidence in this government's ability to fix the housing crisis.